Good Saturday morning. I'm KHOU meteorologist Kim Castro. You know that expression, enjoy the moment, live in the moment. That couldn't ring more true for today. 49 degrees, and that's really going to be about as warm as it gets. Those temperatures are going to continue to drop throughout the day. Winds are going to continue to increase. We're a little bit warmer than this time yesterday, and that is all going to change. We're seeing a cold front pass through right now, starting to move offshore quickly, and that cold air behind it is going to start to sink in, and it's going to stay with us throughout the day, lasting us through the weekend. The breezy conditions won't let up either. We're talking about some very strong wind gusts and some advisories in place. We'll get to that in a moment, but the weather headlines for today, yes, a cold front passing by right now. Those temperatures are going to drop throughout the day. Not only that, but it feels like temperatures are going to get very chilly as we couple the air temperature with this strong wind moving in. Let's have a check at current wind speeds right now, sitting at 24 miles an hour in Houston, 30 at Hobby, Wharton 23, Palacios 30 also, Columbus, Brenham into the 20s. Sustained wind, and it's going to stay right around this marker, 20 to 25 miles an hour throughout the day. Wind gusts, however, are going to get right around 45 miles an hour in some spots. We've already seen wind gusts clocked in at 40 miles an hour for Bush International, 29 miles an hour in El Campo, 31 for Columbia, 40 for Columbus, and we are going to see again gusts getting up to 45, potentially even 50 miles an hour as we progress through the day. Temperature forecast, we're going to hover right around the 40s for the early afternoon, a slight bump up into the 50s as we get some of that sunshine moving in, but this is actual current temperatures mixing with that wind. Feels like temperatures are going to stay in the 40s overnight, plummeting into the low 30s and upper 20s. So a very chilly start to Sunday. That marathon, you're going to want to have quite a bit of coverings on you, not only for your hands, your face, your head. You really are going to feel that chill seep in overnight into early tomorrow. There's a look at live radar, the passing of that front. Now you do see a little band of moisture there. The air column is a little bit too dry, so most of that is evaporating before reaching the ground, but don't be surprised if you feel a little sprinkle. That's that cold front passing through. What it leaves behind, very breezy conditions like we talked about. A wind advisory is in effect until 6 o'clock this afternoon. Sustained wind, 20 to 25 miles an hour. That's consistent throughout the day. Very breezy. Probably already heard that wind howling out there. Yeah, it's going to stay that way with gusts getting around 45, maybe even 50 miles an hour. And that's going to cause problems with power outages, likely some downed branches, some possible trees toppling over. A very breezy weekend ahead. And really, this is for throughout this state, even more breezy for our neighbors to the north, with the area just east of Amarillo under a high wind warning. Gusts there getting up to 60 miles an hour. Southwest Texas dealing with a fire weather warning. This is a red flag watch, which means that there's not only very strong wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour, there's also very dry fuel. Vegetation is dangerous to have this sort of wind mixing in with very dry conditions. Relative humidity values for this area getting down into the teens and 20s. So although we're all breezy, at least we've got the lesser risk statewide. Here's a look at current wind speeds across the state. Amarillo already with sustained wind gusts at 35 miles an hour. These areas in red are 30 to 40 miles an hour. So it's going to be a breezy day for all of us. And talking about what those wind gusts will look like as we progress throughout the day, they are going to start to ramp up. So wind gusts, 11 o'clock in the morning, 34 miles an hour for Bush Brenham, already in the low 40s, 42 mile an hour gusts for you. As we fast forward through time, this evening is going to get even more breezy. Gusts getting close to 40 miles an hour for Bush. Brenham still hovering around that 40 mile an hour marker. Columbus right at that marker. 36 miles an hour for Cleveland, Pasadena 40. Galveston Island getting at 43 miles an hour. There's also a gale warning for some very rough sea waters there, and a very strong push of that water offshore. Breezy condition lasts us through early on Sunday. That means for the marathon and getting ready for it, it's going to be breezy and it's going to feel very cool, much cooler than actual temperatures readings outside. Futurecast showing us we are starting off with some cloud cover, and that's actually good news. It's helping to hold off on a little bit of warmth, at least for the next hour or so. We're going to lose that cloud cover. We're going to see that cold air from the north coming in, and that means actual temperatures are getting into the 40s. Feels like temperatures getting into the 30s. As we get into the overnight hours, temperatures are already going to drop into the very low 40s, very upper 30s. Feels like temperatures, though, into the 20s. So by 7 o'clock for our Sunday morning, those temperatures are going to feel like they're in the mid to upper 20s. So you know the deal there. You're going to want to bundle up for tomorrow, and especially bring some face coverings. If you're out there going to support anybody, you're going to want to have that beanie and that nice scarf to make sure you protect your neck and any of your extremities too. So long sleeves, pants, you're going to want to be bundled up so you can stay comfortable. Feels like conditions. So here's a snapshot of 6:30 on our Saturday. Like I mentioned, actual temperatures are going to be in the 40s, but it's going to feel like the 30s. And then look at how those temperatures continue to drop as we mix in the cold air from that front and the really sustained breezy conditions that we're going to see throughout the afternoon and into the evening, lasting us through early Sunday. It's going to feel like the 20s, so feeling like below the freezing mark for a lot of spots. Even Bush feels like 31 degrees at 6:30. Tomball feels like 29 degrees. So here's the marathon forecast. 7 o'clock. 36 degrees, the actual temperature, plenty of sunshine, no cloud cover. We're going to see very, very cold conditions. Temperatures are going to feel like they're in the 20s. The good news here is as we get into the 8, 9 o'clock hour, feels like temperatures now get into the 30s. So it's starting to feel more in line with actual temperatures. That's because wind speeds are going to start to die down. So for our Sunday, the majority of the day, we're going to see winds stay at 10 to 15 miles an hour, occasional gusts getting up to 20, but certainly dying down for what we're seeing this morning, this afternoon, and this evening. So you just have to really make it through today and the early part of our Sunday to start to see a little bit more comfortable conditions. I don't mind the cold air, but it's when you mix it in with the wind that it really starts to feel a little bit unpleasant. Noon, 10 o'clock rather, 43 degrees, still seeing the wind start to die down, so it actually feels like the 40s here. Starting to see temperatures want to bump into the 50s by noon, and it actually feels like that. It's going to feel right around 48 degrees, actual temperature 49. So finally starting to see those line up. Today is the big discrepancy day though. Temperatures and the wind going to make it feel colder than it actually is. Remember, 40s for the high point today. That's where actual temperatures feels like the 30s. For our Sunday, then we start to see the sunshine and wind starting to die down by the afternoon. So actual temperatures and feels like temperatures really starting to line up. 65 degrees for our Monday, then temperatures starting to bounce back. So if you really enjoyed the conditions yesterday, we get to see a day very similar to that on Wednesday, but notice we got some rain chances there and a big drop off in temperatures, so you could probably have guessed it. We are going to welcome that next chance for another front to move in by the end of the work week, transitioning into the weekend with another drop in temperatures. So in true Southeast Texas fashion, we've got another roller coaster forecast. I'll be back live here at 9 o'clock, so I'll see you then with the latest track of our winds and our current temperatures.